Choosing an oncologist is one of the most important decisions in your lung cancer journey. So, knowing where to start, what to look for, and how to evaluate your options, it's not always easy and it's not always obvious, especially if you're newly diagnosed. The process can feel totally and completely overwhelming. In this video, I want to walk you through some practical steps that can help you make this decision with a little bit more confidence so it doesn't have to feel so overwhelming. So, if you've been diagnosed with lung cancer, either through your primary care doctor, it might have been a routine physical, like it was in my case. It could be a trip to the ER, or even in some other way. You're eventually going to need to select a thoracic oncologist as part of your treatment. So, what is a thoracic oncologist? A thoracic oncologist is a medical specialist, i.e., doctor, who focuses on diagnosing and treating cancers in the chest cavity, primarily lung cancer, mesothelioma, and esophageal cancer. So they typically lead a multidisciplinary team of other specialists that can include surgeons and radiation specialists, and they work with advanced treatments such as targeted therapy, immunotherapy, clinical trials, chemotherapy, all of the things that we've talked about in prior videos. So I think of a thoracic oncologist as a person who is coordinating your care, all of those medical decisions, and bringing in the right specialists at exactly the right time. So that might include a radiation oncologist, especially if radiation is part of your treatment, or a thoracic surgeon if, for example, a robotic lobectomy is offered to you. I have been being treated with lung cancer for the last 3 years, and I've worked with three different thoracic oncologists at different cancer centers for very different reasons. And I'll explain at the end of the video why it is. It'll make a lot of sense. Maybe you're like my friend right now who has been recently diagnosed with lung cancer through a routine pre-op procedure for a hip replacement. So that pre-op procedure involved her getting a routine x-ray, which then illuminated a suspicious area, which then they sent her for a CT scan, another suspicious area, and then sent her for a PET scan to confirm that it indeed was cancer. She now finds herself in the situation of having to select a thoracic oncologist. Maybe your situation is similar. Again, it could be a little bit daunting. However, there are many well qualified, experienced thoracic oncologists, which could be a great match for you, which again leads us to feel that the process is a little bit overwhelming, right? How do I find the person that's right for me? So if I had to start over, the first place that I would look is I would ask my primary care physician for a referral. So you can also ask your friends or family members if they have recommendations. Lung cancer is, again, one of the most, unfortunately, popular forms of cancer. There are more lung cancer people being diagnosed each year than there are breast cancer and colon cancer combined. So chances are you may know somebody that has been treated by a thoracic oncologist, or you may know somebody right now being treated. If you want to know who I'm being treated, again, I'll say where I'm being treated and who I'm being treated with too at the end of this video. But again, if I had to start over, I would look at my primary care physician. I would ask my friends. I would ask my family members. And the most important thing is to make sure that the oncologist specializes in lung cancer, which again means specifically asking for a referral for a thoracic oncologist. So once you have a doctor's name or several doctors' names, which you should gather more than one name, it's really helpful to do some preliminary research online. So there's a website, I'm sure you're all familiar with it, healthgrades.com, keeping in mind that that website isn't always up to date with the most complete information. It's a great place to start, but beware, it doesn't have up to date information. Healthgrades is a great starting point, which provides you an overview of the physician across different key areas: experience, patient ratings, insurance, locations, affiliated hospitals. Again, all things that are very pertinent to you in your decision, but don't view the information from Healthgrades as like one output. It's not the final decision maker. It's a great place to start, and it's a great place to have as part of your overall process. So that would be healthgrades.com. I also left the link here below. So definitely check out those recommendations on healthgrades.com. You should also visit the oncologist website and watch any introductory videos that they might have. So they often outline their areas of expertise, their educational backgrounds, where they completed their residency and fellowship, as well as board certifications. So some websites even allow you to check insurance coverage, which we're going to talk about in a minute, and also to schedule an appointment directly. So if that option is available, it is absolutely worth scheduling that visit as soon as possible, because you guys, it takes weeks. It takes weeks sometimes to get on their schedule and to make sure that they have enough ample time for that first visit. So getting that appointment on the calendar can make a meaningful difference. So please go to the oncologist website, where the cancer center that they are associated with, watch the video, because a lot of times that will explain to you the kind of people that they are. You'll get a little bit of a feel for the type of person. You'll hear their voice, and for some people you'll immediately get a comfort or not. It might completely repel you. You might look at somebody online in a video and say, nope, not for me. So make sure that you're watching that video throughout, and that you're going to the website. The next important major consideration is insurance. You need to confirm before you even sit down with that oncologist for that first meeting that your oncologist is in network. This can help you avoid significant, and I use the word significant, financial stress. We've seen people go bankrupt because of medical costs. And cancer care is nothing to sneeze at. The costs are astronomical. So you need to make sure that thoracic oncologist is in network. How do you do that? Very easily. I want you to call the doctor's office and speak with the billing department directly. And here's the question that you want to use. Are you in network for the name of the insurance plan? And I also want to make sure that you have your insurance card to confirm the number with them exactly. Okay. That is a major league important step. So before you're sitting down and vetting any thoracic oncologist, you have to make sure they're in network. And again, the way that you're going to do that, sorry for being a little repetitive, but I don't want to skip over it. It's so important. Make sure that they are in network. Another important step is to verify the doctor's license and professional background in order to include whether or not any actions have been taken by a state medical board. This information, again, I'm dropping it right here, is online. It's online to anybody. Here is the URL. You're going to go to docinfo.org, www.docinfo.org. You're going to put in the name of the thoracic oncologist that you are considering, the name or names of those individuals. And the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to make sure that no medical actions have been taken by the medical state board. It's a fantastic site. Anybody could use it. It's very easy. So I want you to make sure that you check their license and background verification. Next, and here's the part of the video that you've all been waiting for: personal and practical considerations when it comes to choosing an oncologist. So look, like I said in this video, there are lots of great oncologists who have studied at fantastic, phenomenal medical schools and look amazing on paper. But there's this human side of the relationship. And you guys, again, this is the most important part of the video because your thoracic oncologist can look absolutely perfect on paper. But if these key points that I'm going to talk about, you may find yourself like me getting very upset and getting very unhappy. And I'll talk about why that was. The first thing you need to ask your doctor is about their accessibility. Specifically, what happens on nights and weekends if you have a concern? Is there a clear way to reach someone when the office is closed? I can't stress this enough because for whatever reason, it always happens whenever you need to reach your physician. It always happens on a weekend or the middle of the night. This happened when I was raising my kids too. We always needed to call the pediatrician in the middle of the night when things were closed. Well, you need to find out the answer. You need to ask that oncologist that you're interviewing, what happens away from business hours? Who's going to help me? What is the process? What number can I call? How do I get in touch with somebody? What do I do if there's an emergency? So that accessibility is key. Secondly, is do they share information openly about themselves? I find that some of the best oncologists that I've worked with give me a lens and they aren't afraid to open up about who they are outside of work. And that could be things about knowing if they're married. Do they have children? Where do they live? Where did they take a next trip? What do they like to do for fun? These things may sound like so casual, but they're so important because the right oncologist, like you need to establish a relationship and a rapport. And the way that you do that is by opening up, different parts of yourself and the same thing gets reflected back to you, right? They shouldn't be so stoic. They really need to express who they are as people to you so that you can, deepen that relationship over time. It really makes a difference. So again, I've found the best oncologists to just be very open and very human with me. And that actually has helped to solidify a stronger relationship. Next, do they communicate in a way that you understand, i.e., they don't make you feel stupid? If you ask a question, if you ask them to repeat yourself, if you want to ask for more clarifying questions. So, for example, I talked about my friend. I recently accompanied my friend to a meeting with an oncologist radiologist, and he was phenomenal. It was her first time and our first time actually interviewing this particular doctor. And what I loved is he was explaining SBRT, stereotactic body radiation therapy. Watch everyone. It's a future lung cancer strong video. He was so wonderful to us. He was so brilliant in a way that we could both understand. He took his time. He paused to answer questions. He had great eye contact. He gave us his full attention. And you know what? He was nice. He was nice. And I enjoyed meeting with him so much. It made the process so much easier. So, again, do they listen to your concerns? And are they being respectful? Are they communicating in a way that you truly can understand where they're not making you feel stupid? And last, the moment that you've all been waiting for, the most important question, and this isn't a question that you ask them directly, but it is through their body language, it is through communicating, it's through those meetings, it's through being in their energy field, I'll say. Do they show they care? I want to stop and I want to pause and I want to say that again. Do they show they care? So I talked about it. I'm on my third oncologist. I've been living with lung cancer for 3 years. Why? My oncologist, my last oncologist before this one, checked most of the boxes. Smart, graduate of Harvard Medical School, at the top of their class. Reviews, 5 stars, in the hundreds across the board. We worked together for a period of 2 years at the same cancer hospital. But you know what happened? When one of my scans showed a new lesion on my liver, and a new lesion on my spine, they told me that I would have to wait 2 months. I'm going to say that again, 2 months for an appointment. So you can imagine that I was pretty freaked out and I was upset. Waiting 2 months after you've recently seen a lesion on your liver and your spine with stage 4 lung cancer, and you're expected to wait 2 months. I messaged the doctor again, got in communication, right? Accessibility that we talked about. And I asked both my thoracic oncologist and my nurse practitioner, please, could they help me find an earlier appointment? Because I tried to schedule it on the MyChart app and nothing was coming up for me. They told me in no uncertain terms, no, they wouldn't be able to help me get a sooner appointment and that I had to keep on calling. I replied to them in email form on MyChart. I got it. And then that was it. I said, lose my number. You know what, everyone? God works in mysterious ways. And that's the best thing that could have ever happened to me because right now I'm being treated and finally getting the care that I deserve at Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York City with Dr. Paul Pack. His last name is spelled Paik, Pack. Okay. Within 4 weeks of me calling Memorial Sloan Kettering, they scheduled my first appointment with my new thoracic oncologist, right? All of the questions, all of the things that we talked about in this video, I reviewed with Dr. Paul Pack. I had my mother there, my daughter there, my significant other there, and we interviewed him for over an hour. We also interviewed members of his team. Well, right now, thanks to his care and the amazing medical team at Memorial Sloan Kettering, they put me into a clinical trial. They redid all of my scans. My family and I are so thankful. I can't even put it into words right now. That's how you show that you care. And that's how your oncologist shows up. And you should take nothing else but that as an absolute must. Choosing the right oncologist changes the course of your lung cancer journey. It's one of the most important decisions that you'll ever make. It's not a casual decision. It is a sacred decision. And in future videos, I'll walk you through how to even choose the right cancer center because that is also too a critical decision for you to consider. So you deserve, as a cancer patient, not only excellent, but compassionate care, people who really go above and beyond to help you because this is a beast of a disease, and you're allowed to demand it. You also too are paying for it. Make no mistake about it. So we'll have a future video about the best way to fire your oncologist for any reason, like the scheduling and the lack of care, like I talked about. So hopefully in this video, I've helped to demystify what are the most important things to look for when hiring an oncologist for the first time to give you a little bit of guidance. It's important that you do some preliminary research online. I didn't mention ChatGPT and Perplexity and Google Gemini. Those also too are great sources of information. But again, take all of these sources and everything that we talked about together and make sure that you have that face-to-face meeting and they show you they care from that first meeting. It's so important. So I thank you for listening and watching and subscribing to this channel. I hope you know how much I appreciate you, how much I enjoy your comments, I enjoy your emails. Please, if there's anything that you think that other cancer patients, specifically lung cancer patients, might benefit for as it relates to choosing an oncologist, I hope that you'll drop it in the comments for everyone to see. And again, thank you so much for watching. One breath, one story, one day at a time. This is Lung Cancer Strong.